ladies. Well, hello, ladies and not ladies. Hi. How are you guys doing? I'm doing good. We're going to be building this today. And then, before we build that, we're going to build this Fast and Furious Speed Champions set. I don't know how this video is going to go because I don't really want to talk. I just want to build, but we shall see. Hello. This is voiceover Nidhi. Let's see if I can do this in one take. But anyways, I started building the F1 Red Bull car back in December 7th, right after my dad's Christmas party. I was like, you know what? I'm going to build this. I didn't study for exams. I didn't prepare for my exams. I started building this. Essentially, I had 2 exams at home. I had 2 on Monday, and then I was supposed to be done. No. I had 1 on Monday and then 1 on Tuesday. I know I should be talking about the Legos, but hear me out, because this day that you guys are seeing the footage of me recording, let me tell you, it was a Tuesday and I had an exam for a class, which is like this ethics law class. Mind you, 2 months before that, not even 2 months, like 3 weeks before the final exam, the teacher unexpectedly quit. Like, she left and we had to get a replacement teacher. So for 1 week we didn't know what we were doing. The second week the teacher did the class, and then the third week was the exam. So the previous teacher, Teacher A, basically was like, okay, like all of the quizzes that we did before, so we had 6 quizzes total, she says from 1 to 5 would be like away from class. It'll be online, but it's off class, so offline essentially. And basically I was like, perfect. And then, but she said that the 6th one, it's mandatory that you join class and stay in class to do the test, which doesn't sound horrible, doesn't sound too bad. It's actually quite honestly not that bad. And so I remember that, and the teacher that was the replacement teacher basically was like, like, it's going to be the same thing. Nothing's really going to change. I don't really want to do it. Because it's too late to change the structure of how you do things, right? Like, there's only 2 weeks of school left. So what are you going to do? What are you going to change? How are you going to change it, right? So essentially, I and my group members, because we had to do groups work this entire semester. But anyways, that's besides the point. Basically, the teacher was supposed to start the online class, and we were supposed to do the quiz online. It's Tuesday, it's 3-something, I go upstairs in my room, I'm ready to take the test. I joined the Zoom class with the link that was provided. Nothing. There was nothing. I messaged my group members. They're also very confused. I tried emailing and messaging the teacher. No reply. From 3:15 to 5:30, I waited. Then I left. I started building Legos. And then I get an email saying, the quiz is available. You have until, I think it was the 9th at that point, so you have the 11th to submit it. I was so pissed. And not only was it just like one quiz, it was a 3-parter quiz, and one involved an essay. I was so goddamn mad. But I submitted it, I passed that course, I'm done with it. I didn't mind that course in the beginning, but as the course progressed in a way, I was kind of like annoyed at how the structure was, because it just feels like it was so weird. But anyways, I did it, and I continued building my F1 Lego. So I found that the F1 Red Bull was a lot more easier to build than the Ferrari for whatever reason. I just found that the Red Bull one was a little bit more technically easier, while the Ferrari one I kept having issues. But it also could be because I did not build a huge Lego set in a while. Now you guys must be wondering, what do you mean? The last time I built something that was more than 1,000 pieces was back in 2023 when I built my bat plane. In 2025 was the first year that I started doing big sets again, because I've been only doing like pieces that were under 1,000. They were most likely capping at 500 pieces. So doing a big set after a while takes time, and also doing Technic is like structurally like one of the more harder sets. I've heard about it being difficult for whatever reason, and it is difficult. The bigger Technic sets can be quite complicated. Ooh, I want to get the Daytona one, the Lego Daytona, and if I'm being completely honest, I know that will rot my brain, but I want to do it. I'm planning to get it this year, so hopefully I get it. But anyways, as I was saying, I know that the Technics are essentially harder. I remember when I was doing the back car, because it was a Technic set, I was having some difficulties, but that's such a cool set. I also have the bat plane set, which I absolutely love. Last year was the year where I made a ton of Legos. I got so many Legos. I'll talk about those Lego sets another day, as I do have videos that I am currently editing. This is just me doing final steps. Also, I don't know why I didn't fast forward any of this footage. I just did it like this. So you're gonna hear a lot of talking from me. A lot of talking. Let's see how long I can go without cutting myself. But anyways, while talking about the another annoying thing that happened last semester with this class. So I'm in CPA, which is Computer Programming Analysis at Seneca, and there's this course called PMC, which is Project Management. And essentially from day one, the teacher tells you, like, this is like group work based. Like, everything is group work based. Everything is going to be like working in groups. Everything is just group work, which is understandable. It's relatable because, like, you have to be able to work with people. You should be able to work as a group, as a team, and figure out issues as a group. Makes sense. So we were in a group of, I believe, 5. And I think, like, the first week came and it went smoothly. It was 3 girls and 2 boys. So we in the group were working fine the first week, and then the second week happens, and there's this one person, I will say student A, who was not replying. They would do the work here and there, but they weren't replying. So I think, like, they did so every week there was some sort of assignment that you would have to do as a group. I think there was only 3 times that semester that we didn't do a group work, because it was either exams or it was something. But I do remember there were times that we did not do group work, but essentially the entire coursework is just group work. So what ended up happening is that the second, third, fourth, all the way up to midterms, this student A was not replying, not responding, no nothing. We weren't hearing from him. And mind you, the teacher basically for each and every assignment would say, like, you have to attach like a document or a video of everyone or one person explaining who did what. So what I did, so essentially what was I talking? Oh, right. So essentially, one person in the group would take a screenshot of our messages and kind of like show, like, declaring who did what, and then we would have a chart of like who did what section. He wasn't there until midterm. And we thought he dropped the class, but when we would check the class roster, because on Blackboard you can see who was in class and who was not, he was still there. So midterms happen, and I think after the midterm, there was like this Gantt chart that we had to do on project management. And he did some work on it, I guess. So he did do I don't know why. Oh, that stupid thing is not going inside. Yeah, this is one of the things that I do not like about Technic sets sometimes, is that having to insert pins on the inside of those pieces can be difficult, but it is what it is. Back to my school story anyways. So essentially, he helped out maybe once or twice during the second half of the semester. And then we had to do a final project assignment. So we had to present to the teacher on our day and time and basically talk about our project and essentially just, just talk about what we did. So I wanted to get things done. I wanted the presentations to be over with, and so did my group members. So we started working on the presentation, we started working on the scripts, and when you did the presentation slides, the teacher wanted us to record our voices and insert the voices in the slides. So when he is marking or doing whatever, he has those slides to reference. And then the day that it was due, in the morning, student A sends me a message going, "Hey, sorry haven't been replying. I've been having some health issues. Can I add anything or do anything?" I was mad, but I was like, you know what? I want to get this over with. I want to get this done. I was like, instead of messaging me personally, you should message the group chat so we can all together decide what you can do, because a lot of us did sections and did stuff we're almost close to completing it. What the hell? Anyways, whatever, we just move on. But he sends a message in the group. I also sent a message in the group, and we all decided that he could do the risk register part. So we're like, okay, you can do that. Once again, the whole entire time when we were doing the group stuff, it's building on the assignment. So assignment 1 was just concept, and then assignment 2 is building on that. So the final assignment is just basically taking all of the information that we learned the entire semester and putting it in the slide. So it's really easy. So you don't have to do extra research or anything. You just pull up one of the older files and you insert it. And we made a drive, a OneDrive thing, where we put all the files and folders and everything. So it was really accessible, nothing hard. There's no password protected, there's nothing. You have the link, you click it, and you get it. So we're working on the presentation, and when it's close to submitting, we're all putting our voices in or whatever. We notice that he's not actually doing anything. He hasn't added anything to the slides, he doesn't add anything to the voice, and we're trying to figure out, yo, what are you doing? What is going on? What is happening? Because you have to do your part. We have to submit this tonight. What the hell? So we're trying to get in contact with him. We're trying to message him. We're trying to text him. We are constantly trying. Also, this part I struggled in the video because I was putting on the wrong side. I was putting it the wrong way. It was supposed to be the other side. I have to rotate it. So enjoy me struggling while I rant about that student A. So we're trying to get into contact with student A, and so the other group members were like, oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Before that guy messaged, I was like, hey, let's work as if he doesn't exist. So if he does join, he'll have his section. If he doesn't, then we can work without him. So I was like, look, we have to fall back on our plan. We just have to work like he's not here, not part of our group. So we finish it and we submit it, right? Because we're good students. But we didn't hear from him. And I was like, okay, guys, we are ready to go. Okay, we are ready to, sorry about that. We are ready to go. See you guys next week for the presentation. The presentation day comes, and I'm talking with my group members and the other 2, and then I think 5 minutes before we're supposed to present, I believe 5 minutes. What is my brain? 5 minutes before we have to present, student A comes up and he goes, "Are you guys group number 7?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the guy that you guys are presenting with." And then he goes back. No apologies, no nothing. We did a lot of the work this entire semester. This guy contributed maybe once or twice here and there. And all of a sudden, he's here ready to present. And we're like, okay, what are you going to present? Because you did none of the work. But he had a section of wrist register, so I was like, okay, whatever. All five of us go in the room when the teacher tells us to. We go in the room, and we're ready to talk. We do our presentation, and when we were on the first slide, the teacher noticed that student A's name is not on the slide, and he's like, the teacher clocks it like, hey, why is your name not on the slide? Did you not contribute? What happened? Mind you, anyone who contributed to the slide added their own names, and they added their names to the slides that they did. And the voices that we inserted into the PowerPoint is also the person who did those slides. So, of course, his name is not going to be there because he didn't do the slides. Anyways, we're presenting, he presents, and then the teacher starts asking questions. Not just about our presentation, but like general information, like what's a Gantt chart, what do you do, blah, blah, blah. So, student A went first all the time. The teacher would ask student A and then go down the line. And student A wouldn't be able to answer those questions. And then student A was like kind of like struggling, mumbling. After 5 seconds, like the teacher wouldn't even give him a minute. The teacher would give him like 10 seconds to think, and if he couldn't produce an answer, he would move on to the next person. Mind you, the 4 other students and I did fine. We did fine. But student A was stumbling. And the teacher was like, I have never seen you in class. I've never seen you participate. And the more I ask you questions, the less your marks are going to become, because I can kind of see that, like, you did not learn the content, or you didn't do the projects, or you didn't do anything properly. He was like, within the first 5 to 10 seconds, your brain, that's all you need to come up with your answer. Because, mind you, these aren't like very complex things. These are just not basic, but these are terminologies that are very easy to understand once you learn about them, because they're just tools or different tasks or different stuff. And a lot of times the answer is, it's just to manage, or it's to update, or it's to blah, blah, blah. Very rarely is it complex. So the teacher's like, oh, you don't even know this. Like, I'm going to check everyone's work afterwards, but like, I can clearly tell that you did nothing. And when we left the room, and mind you, the other people that presented before us were inside the room for like 20 minutes because the teacher was constantly asking them questions. But then when it was our turn, he only asked us for like 4 minutes, and he was like, it's just getting sad that one guy didn't know anything. So that happens. And we leave the class. He just goes. He doesn't say bye. He doesn't say goodbye, thank you, sorry, anything. He just leaves. And we start talking about him, and we're just like, I don't think I've ever seen him. I'm checking the MS chats and checking like, oh, did we have this conversation before? Did we talk about this before? And also, I'm showing you the other side that's been flipped upside down. That's my dad. He put it in the wrong way. So just woohoo. But anyways, the guy left, and I'm checking like Teams of what he only replied here and there. He only did like maybe 3 weeks. He contributed, maybe like 3 weeks he contributed, and then he never contributed again. And essentially, I was like, we were all pissed because he never contributed anything. He maybe contributed the first week, and that was it. He contributed the first week, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. He got away with doing like smaller tasks, so his name would pop up, but he wasn't doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So it kind of got to the point where I was just like, okay, so I did not do this in one cut because my mom called me for something, so now I have to do this in 2 parts. But it is what it is. Live, laugh, love. You know, you gotta enjoy life. But anyways, I was like mad because like, you didn't contribute anything. You didn't do anything. And it's not just me. It's my group members as well. We're like all like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, come on. Like, this is a group presentation. We're all supposed to be doing this together. How are you going to not contribute anything? Show up on the day of the presentation. He also didn't follow the script. We had a script that was very detailed, that was very, thing. He didn't follow it. He went off script, gave semi-whatever answers, and then bolted. Now, I don't know if he failed or passed because, once again, we never talked to him again and never said anything to him. But I remember, after, sitting down, I thought about it and I got so mad that I messaged the teacher, hey, he didn't do any work. I don't know how to explain this, but, he didn't do any work, that this is, these are messages showing you that he didn't contribute anything. These are, messages, in real time of, how it was painful and blah, 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 blah. And the teacher was like, thank you for the information, and I never heard from the teacher again after that, but all I know is I passed. Your girl passed, and your girl got to move on in life. But honestly, it was a really irritating thing because the teacher basically said at the beginning of the semester that, this is a group presentation. This whole course, this whole semester is going to be group work. So for you to, not contribute anything and then want to take credit at the end of the semester, stupid. Very stupid. But anyway, that happens. And honestly, the teacher says, he has a really high passing rate because he's it's very rare that someone would fail his class because it's project management. It's a group work. If you do your midterm and show up for group meetings and do the group work, you're basically passed. You're passing. But if you don't contribute anything, even if you don't do the group work, because even though it's a group work, it's individually marked. That's why the teacher asked for proof of what work you did and what work you didn't do, which I love because people who don't contribute shouldn't get marks. But it's not they didn't contribute. It's just more of people not respecting other people's time. And the teacher kind of also explained it in the beginning of the semester that not everyone that you work with in your life is going to be contributing. So it's up to you to decide how you're going to divide and conquer and how you're going to do it all, right? But that happened. Anyway, semester ended and I passed all my course and now I am back to in school. School, when I did college, when I was in computer system technician's course, we had to use something called VMware. And if you guys don't know what VMware is, it's a software where it allows you to kind of I don't know how to explain it. God damn, so virtual machine is basically, like the name suggests, it's where you can have your computer but in a more virtual way. So if you're messing around with viruses or malware and seeing how they function and learn, or if you're testing a new way, it essentially allows you to do that without harming your actual PC or your actual computer or your actual hardware. And I hate that motherfucking software. I have had bad luck with it since I had to use it. I didn't have a hard time using it for the Microsoft course that I had to do, but I had such a difficult time with it with OOP224, which is learning Linux. Man, I hated that motherfucking software. Let me tell you something. My luck with virtual machine was so bad. I remember every lab class, I would be walking into class with a new error and a new issue, and the teacher looking at the thing and being like, oh, you have to restart it. I remember at one point, the teacher felt so bad for me that he's like, you don't have to. So I forgot to add this detail, but basically, for the labs, what you would have to do is you would have to do the steps and then you would have to run a check. If you did everything correctly, you would get it automatically. But I would come to school because either my virtual machine crashed or my virtual machine just stopped working or it's not being able to do the thing directly. So the teacher felt so bad. He was like, you don't have to submit it with the check. You can just show me, or like at least show the steps that you did. And I was like, you know what? I'll take that, because virtual machine VMware has been such a nightmare for me. And this semester, for this Unix class I'm taking, we have to use virtual machine, but I think the teacher is allowing us to use the VI editor, Vim, and other stuff, but he mainly wants us to use the Linux portal that Seneca provides you with, which I'm really good at, which I can handle, but VMware is like the bane of my existence. I hope that in the workforce I don't have to do virtual stuff, because if I do, then I'm shit out of luck, because I fucking hate VMware for the life of me. But anyways, that's just that. There's just me struggling to put things together. But anyways, I just feel like when it comes to VMware, I just have horrible luck. Like, it's just so bad, and I thought I could escape it, but no, it's back. It's back in my life. Like, woohoo. It's not only that, but like, I also have bad luck when it comes to other softwares as well. But it's not like every single software. It depends on certain stuff. Because I remember for like Web 2222, which is like a website and like a web course, I remember having issues with one of the like Java scripting and stuff like that. Hated that shit, but powered through it, got through it. Anyways, I'm almost towards the end. This is also my dad building everything. My dad likes to build as well. Before, he used to never. He would just watch me, but now he's willing to build and actually do some of it, though I have to like guide him through it. But anyways, so close to getting the card done. I'll talk about the app that I use for the other ones, where there's like the Lego Builder app, which has like a 3D model. Absolutely love that app when it comes to 3D model instructions. Anyways, this is how the car looks. It's a really cool car, really pretty, love it. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked this video. I don't know, do whatever makes your heart happy. I'll be putting $1 with how much stress I was in that this time. Anyways, that's it. Live, laugh, love, enjoy. Please pray for me, as I still do not know how to end a goddamn fucking video. Bye-bye.